don't want to put it just on the men, right? And I know it's going to sound kind of weird, but like side chick culture has also changed. Like the side chicks used to know, you sit in the background, you be quiet, you deal with what you're given, and that's now flipped to, the side chick is the one who's loud and looking for attention and engaging in extortion and outing the relationship and all of this stuff. So I think sometimes young men get advice from a generation of men that don't have to deal with those problems, and they engage in these behaviors not realizing the generation of women that they're dealing with, right? So I think it's both parties involved. Like, yes, some men go outside of their marriage, whether it's a part of the agreement or not, right? But they give themselves the illusion of protecting the family through NDAs, through handlers, through, you know, security or whatever it is that they're utilizing as tools of protection, not realizing that some of these women are looking for a come up and are going to be really loud about it. So I think a lot of people involved are just kind of changing the game and the whole dynamic.
To go, to go back
But
to a
who
previous
has
point you made,
more of the responsibility though? Like even if you say side chicks are supposed to know their place, but who has more of the responsibility in that situation? The side chick gonna do side chick things, regardless of what generation you're in. You know what I'm saying? Like there were in previous generations, because they've had songs about that where the side chick called up the wife and stuff like that. So that happens, especially when there's the side chick long enough to begin catching feelings, getting involved. But the question is, who has more responsibility, the side chick to keep it quiet or the husband who got involved in the situation to begin with?
the equivalent of what you're talking about would be back in that era, women pulling up at the church and screaming outside on a megaphone that they dating your man, or pulling up at the kids' soccer game. Because you got to think they putting this stuff on public Front Street, Instagram, and all that.
Or
They
showing up
take
to the funeral after something
now
happens.
that I heard it happen in a whole lot. But the other stuff I didn't hit, like when people was alive, you don't be hearing the stories of that's just wild. Right now, people like Inez was saying, people get a bag doing that. They literally date people just so they can out them. They
See, that's
literally
my
be
point. Men, especially when you're a celebrity, you guys know this. You know it. And that's why I think I get so frustrated when I like hear certain things like, oh, this person got caught. Like, y'all already know from the jump that 9 times out of 10, the side chick is trying to get in your space because they are on the come up, or it's some kind of benefit that they want from you, period. And yet, in knowing this, you'll still engage in the behavior with the side chick.
are you biblical? You biblical? You Christian?
Yeah. I don't want to say question. Yes, I am.
Who is the strongest man in the Bible?
Samson.
What was he brought down by?
Yeah, a
That
woman.
shit is biblical. It's inscribed in our DNA. The most powerful man in the world, most times, the only weakness really on our body is right here. If you was fighting a man, you could punch him almost everywhere and it might not hurt. But a child, my little kid, punch me in my, you know what I mean, my man package, that's gonna be, it could drop me to my knees. That is like the kryptonite, the Achilles heel on all men.
So
You come in the middle of our
that
body.
means you should
So
protect that with everything then.
So
Man, that means I need to read the Bible, or I didn't even know that answer.
so, so mistaken. Um, so here's the thing, right? I think like as an average person, we kind of wrap our brains around that, right? But when you get into like the rich and powerful, there's a level of not egotism, but something along those lines where you feel powerful enough to insulate yourself away from that, right? Like you feel like you can protect yourself from those things, that no matter what, there's a recourse where, you can mitigate the fallout. And I think that's the trap, right? You think like, okay, it's happening to these other people, but it's not going to happen to me because I know how to handle this situation. I know how to handle this woman. I know how to, you know what I mean? And I think that's where too many people get caught up in those arenas where it's like this this like fallacy, like this bubble that they live in where they can control things and people, and that they can just kind of play chess in that way and not lose.
Now I know the only one, what's her name? That's on the NBA Wives or whatever. Chris, what's her name? Chrissy, whatever.
Wife?
No, the older one. She's older. Are they in LA or whatever? Oh my gosh, I think her name is Chrissy or Chris. You know who I'm talking about? The older one, the one that's always stirring up. Jackie Chrissy. Okay. Now her situation. So I even though she seemed a little crazy, I can respect the way that they managed their marriage. Like they insulated their marriage, because I don't think I've ever heard anything with him stepping outside the marriage because she was always there.
What's the man she dating? What's his name?
What's her husband's name, Shan?
He cute though. I don't know his name.
He
older, and he's so reserved. Like he's so opposite of her.
Let me see. I'm gonna look up
his name. Is let me see. I can look it up.
Jackie Chrissy. But anyway, Doug
Christie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so they're old school or whatever. But I'm saying what I can appreciate is that they protected their marriage by making sure that, well, she made sure she was there. So y'all, going out, y'all hanging out, I'm here with you. He left, he would come to the hotel and be with her. You know what I'm saying? So I think if your marriage is priority, especially if you don't have any children at this point yet, I know if I was that chick, I'm doing what she did. Listen, we ain't got children. I can be your biggest supporter. You know what I'm saying? I can insulate our relationship for that very reason, because I just, like I said, kind of being in the situation and seeing what happens after the games. Most women, I guess I have to agree that they know what they're getting into, just because it is a lot to deal with. And I definitely think that I would be that wife that'd be like, I'm coming with you.
Teammates would be like, bro, you gotta stop bringing your wife,
right?
Because
like
that'll cause friction on the team, like real live friction.
How? If I'm there with my husband, if he's playing a game and he ain't trying to hang out with y'all after the game, he leaves and he comes to the hotel and he's with me. What does that have to do with y'all?
So we had a teammate before, right? And this dude was dating this girl with a big ass mouth. So all the players' families players and the families and extended families, they have a little area they sit in.
Mm-hmm.
So this girl, she did me like this too before. This girl. She'll be in the little area, and she want to be buddy to any girl she see attractive. So she told one of the girls, like, "Oh, Marcus always had the prettiest girls," and she don't know these girls. She just come out her mouth like me and Buddy had an issue about that. I'm like, bro, why is she doing this? Come to find out, well, man, people be having a problem with it. People be having a problem with it, and sometimes it be ulterior motives behind why she doing that shit. She might want to switch players.
Yeah,
like,
not only that, it would. That's one of those things where a few times would be cool. Every game on the road, the man would need some space at some point, and would ask for that space and be like, "Yo, no offense, you got to go home. We're on a 3-day road trip. I just need you to." It would be a very difficult conversation, but some of those guys need that space, and I also understand that some of those guys don't want that space, and they would want you there because you're part of their mental headspace. There's two sides to that coin, but oftentimes to clear those home distractions, baby, please stay at home.
And some coaches will tell you, like, look, you unfocused, like. they don't want, like, depending on the like, it's a lot of other variables that could go into that where that could go all the way wrong. But the reason I say it's gonna be a hard conversation, I'm a firm believer you gotta start how you finish. So if you've been letting her come on 25 games and then you just change your mind, even if y'all don't fight about it, she gonna have a thought in her mind which could fester something and snowball into some other stuff. Man, I don't know. I don't.
I guess for me, I would be curious to listen to the conversation with the other husbands of wives of how come Mistaken gets to go to all the away games. Like, I think that would cause some friction.
Hell yeah.
Anything else, like, how come Mistaken gets to go and I can't go, and you get, like, 3 or 4 wives, and then that starts to spread. Like, the whole team is ready to fight.
But you know what? I've seen well, I ain't seen it myself, but I heard that they have both the wife and the side chick at the game, right?
Blue
And usually
Wheel
they
type
sit
of
right
thing.
by each other.
It depends. Look, I guess it depends on. I guess it depends on what level you're at.
That's a hell of a gamble.
Right. I guess if you ride in a bench, you might not be able to pull that off. But if you somebody else, you might be able to.
I don't think it's based off of your performance of the game. I think that got to do with like what type of man you are, or you know what I'm saying, if you got the ability to do that. Because this dude's that could be the star. I'm talking about every gym you pull up in, and he getting dog walked by his girl, and all the guys on the team looking at him like, bro, why is you allowing this? Mm-hmm. Or she running over him. I think that really just depends on the man. Yeah, that part is
interesting.
Yeah, not like let's just say LeBron or Steph had a side chick there at the games with their wife. Like that just wouldn't that's not gonna go. And those are two of the biggest names in basketball. Like that's just not gonna go. Like don't do that, bro.
It will definitely mess the brand up. You would have to, if they were to do it, they would have to be real strategic, and the woman would have to have some class about herself, which somebody just mentioned. This new generation.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's a little hard to find.
You don't mix it, because what happens is if a guy is bringing his side chick to me, now he's in that area of really cheating, because you're actually giving the side chick mental space.
But they do that. That's what you're missing. Okay, so we're about to get into this. We're going to get into the. Okay, so listen. Okay, so I'm glad we're talking about celebrity. Let's bring this to the everyday guy. When I say the everyday guy, decent guy who's got something going for himself. He has a family, and there's this girl on the side that he kind of likes or whatever. So he's not LeBron, no, but he's Jimmy down the block. Okay. Oh, Jimmy around the corner. And Jimmy got Joanne and Chrissy. I mean, I don't know what else.